Hi guys, today we are going to be making a berry tofu cheesecake. It is the first time I've made this cheesecake, and I have made a raw cashew cheesecake, which is fabulous, although a little bit dense. And we have made actually a goat cheese cheesecake, which was actually really good too, although didn't do very well for very long out of the freezer or refrigerator. And so we have this recipe, so we're going to give it a try, and you and I are going to be experimenting together. So first of all, we're going to be making the crust and then putting it aside. This is not a raw crust. This is a vegan crust. So this all is going to require cooking. So I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible. We're going to be doing some clips. So we're going to be doing 1/3 of a cup of water, and I've already measured that, and I have my bowl just right here. And we have our chia seeds. I like the white chia seeds. And we're going to be doing 1/3 of a cup of the chia seeds. You can grind them or you can not grind them. It really doesn't matter. Sometimes when I make my donuts, I grind them because I don't want to see them. It kind of looks like poppy seeds or something. And 2½ cups of coconut flour. I use this one, but I've used other ones and they really don't really matter. Oh, look at that. I can't get it. There we go. It's a brand new bag, so there you go. All right, and it's resealable, so it's fabulous. Okay, so I got my 1/2 cup here, and so we got a 1/2 cup, 1 full cup. Sad part is that they don't usually sell really big bags, so sometimes it's nice to actually buy it in bulk because you can get a lot more, but at the grocery store that doesn't happen. So there's 2 cups and 1 more 1/2 cup. There we go. And I'm just going to put that off to the side. So 3/4 of a cup of coconut oil. And I have my 1/4 of a cup, so there's one. I just kind of use my finger. Actually, mine has been out for a while, so it's really nice and soft. You want to make sure that your coconut oil isn't really hard, because especially when you're making a dough, it's going to be really difficult to mix it. But then you don't want to melt it either, because then it's going to totally change the consistency for you. So yeah, just kind of leaving it out makes it nice for baking. There we go, 3/4 of a cup. And look at me. I got a new Himalayan salt. It's not in a bag anymore. So a pinch is something I have to unscrew and kind of work with. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of it out and put a pinch in like an 1/8 of a teaspoon sort of deal. And my arrowroot flour, I find the arrowroot flour and tapioca flour are always so messy. I'm always like covered in my flour, and I never learned to put it in first. So I'm always like really slimy trying to get the bag open. So 1/3 of a cup, here we go, arrowroot flour. You can buy this in bulk too, but I kind of like it in the bag. I don't know, I think it's just in my head. There we go, 1/3 of a cup, and in it goes. And I'm going to stir this up, and then I'm going to show you the consistency and the pan we're going to put it in. Okay, so here it is. It's kind of dry in my house right now, and so I added another 1/3 of a cup of water and another 1/4 of a cup of coconut oil. So that would make a whole cup of coconut oil. My hands are all gooey from kneading the dough. And so you know what kind of like cookie dough and pie crust is supposed to feel like. This one isn't exactly like pie crust in that you can make it into a ball, and I'm going to show you. I've made this before, and I used it for a pot pie. It was fabulous. So this actually will make, it's going to be the bottom of my really big cheesecake pie, and or it can make a top and a bottom to a pot pie, this recipe. So there you are, have it. So you can see it's in a nice, it's pretty solid ball. It's not going to roll very well though. You could try, I did try. It's okay, you can put it between 2 bags or some wax paper. You just got to be really delicate. I did it with the pot pie. You may need a little bit more moisture, whether it be coconut oil or water, just to make sure it doesn't fall apart, as coconut flour is a little bit brittle or fragile. And so what I'm going to do is I'm not actually going to roll this. I'm actually going to put it right in my my cake pan or my pie pan, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to be using. This right here, and it has the clippy thing on it, so that when I'm undoing it, it's going to be really, really easy, and it's not going to fall apart on me. So I'm just going to put it right in there, and then I'm going to kind of play with it with my fingers and make a shape. And so I'm going to do that, and I'll show you what it looks like in a second. So here we are again. We're just ready to solidify this portion of the cheesecake, the vegan cheesecake. I wanted to remind you to definitely put olive oil on your pan, not just on the bottom, but on the sides. And then definitely, you probably noticed that I didn't put sugar or any sweetener in this crust. That's my choice. I just really like to have something subtle to kind of contrast the sweetness and the other flavors, kind of like eating bread with a meal. And so you can add honey or agave or your choice of sweetener to this, although I think the cheesecake is going to be very rich and sweet enough, so it'll be a nice contrast just to have something nice and subtle on the bottom of it. So there you go. You can see I just kind of made it flat and try to make it even all the way around. And I put a bit of coconut oil on my hands as I was smoothing it, just so to help kind of make it flat and not flaky as it's going to go in the oven. So I'm going to get the other ingredients ready for you, and we'll start the next segment. Okay, so we're back, and we're going to be doing the actual cheesecake portion. And I've tried to measure everything out so it should go fairly quickly. So we just have our big glass bowl here, and we're going to be beating all of this together afterwards with our beater, which I'm not going to do online. And so, okay, here we have 500, oops, let's go this way first, 500 grams of silken tofu. It's kind of really sloppy. You can see in the store sometimes they make desserts out of this that's very delicious. So 500 grams of that, and I actually weighed it out on my scale. And 225 grams of firm, not extra firm, just firm. And again, I weighed it out on my scale. Just putting it in the bowl. You don't want to put the water in with it. And a half a teaspoon of our vanilla. Now, I use pure vanilla, not vanilla extract. This is actually pure vanilla, but you can use the extract if you would like. And a quarter of a cup of cane sugar. But you know what? I actually have to put a quarter of a cup of arrowroot flour in too, and I've already measured that out. So here's our arrowroot flour. And definitely do not interchange that with tapioca flour or another starch. They work completely different in vegan and raw cooking. So when it says tapioca starch, use tapioca. When it says arrowroot, use arrowroot. Cornstarch, I use in regular cooking with broths and stuff, but I definitely don't use in baking, so it's not interchangeable. And a quarter of a cup of my raw cane sugar. Sorry, I keep turning my back to you. A pinch of salt. This is our Himalayan salt again, the nice pink stuff that's really good for you. You do need salt in your diet. I'm not a big salt person, but I know that Himalayan salt is good for me, and I do need salt, especially in the summertime when you're sweating and I work out quite a bit. You do need that in your body. And 1 cup of orange juice, and I just made it from frozen, so it is no sugar or anything like that, but obviously you could make it fresh if you were that diligent. And there's a half a cup and a full cup. And that's all the ingredients, and we're going to beat that together, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So I did all the beating and put it all together and realized that my pan, according to the crust that they asked for, was really quite thick. And so I really like to have a lot of cheesecake to my crust. I didn't want it to be really thin. And so I actually doubled the recipe. So again, if your crust is thinner than mine, or you're using a different crust, or you're making a smaller one, then definitely use, just the half portion. But for mine, we're using about a 10-inch cake plate or pie plate, and so I think double, because I want it to be like a nice thickness of cheesecake. I don't want it to be like, you know, equal to the crust. And so we did double it, and I did also know that the orange juice that's in it really makes it splattery, so I used my big soup pot and beat it inside of that, and I still got quite a bit on me, but certainly it was better than the little bowl. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pour it onto our crust, and then we're going to bake it for about an hour at 350 in the oven, and in a second, after I put this in the oven, we're going to do a topping. So give me 1 second and I'll show you how it looks. So our cheesecake's in the oven, so I'll have to be clipping all of this together so you can see what the finishing product looks like. The double of the insides fit perfectly on the crust portion that we did, and so I think you're going to be very pleased, and I'm going to be very pleased. We're going to be doing our topping now, so we're going to double our topping too. We want to make sure that we have enough fruit on top. You can really use any berry that you want, and I think I'm not going to be making this as sweet as it is calling for, because I don't really like a lot of sweetness. But we did put our arrowroot already in our bowl. There it is there. And so it's 1.5 cups of arrowroot, and again, that's a double portion, so if you're making the singular portion, you'll want to cut all that I'm going to do right now in half. The other thing that we have in here is 1.5 teaspoons of agar, and agar is a thickener, and I absolutely love it. My mother actually introduced it to me, and I use it a lot in my broths and gravies now too. So 1.5 teaspoons of that, and 1/2 cup of water. Here we are. Now it's asking for maple syrup, and I do not use maple syrup. I do use agave, and it's asking for a whole cup of agave. That is really, really sweet. I'm going to leave it out right now. I'm going to add my blueberries first, and then I'm just going to stir it. I'm going to have a little bit of a taste. We are going to be doing this over the frying pan, and I'm not doing that on the video. I'm just going to show you the ingredients, and we're going to bring everything to a boil in the frying pan. And it's going to be a nice warm topping that we can put on the cheesecake afterwards. But I'm just going to kind of taste my way there with the sweetener after the fact, as I said, because I don't really like a lot of sweet, and a cup of agave is a lot of agave. But we are also going to put also 1.5 cups of orange juice. So here we are is our 1/2 cup, 1 cup, and another 1/2 cup. And then we are going to put 2.5 cups of blueberries, and then we're going to boil it on the oven, and we're going to sweeten it according to our taste. So I'm going to do that, and I'll let you see the final product. So the long-awaited 1 hour has come, and we have our finished product, and it really does look like cheesecake. It's fabulous. And we have our topping. I don't know if you can see it right here, that we're going to be putting on it. So I'm going to put it on right now. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to let it cool before we cut it, and then we'll take it out of the pan. Actually, we'll take it out of the pan first with the little latch thing, and then we will cut it. And it should be solidified. It does not run when I tip it, and it's nice and toasted. I did put my knife in the center, and it came out looking like cheesecake. So that's always a good sign. So give it a try. Let me know how you like it. And if you have any questions or concerns, definitely email me at handscomegirls@aol.com. Thanks again for being with us. Hi guys, I just realized I did not show you the finished product. I can't take it out of the pan yet, but definitely check that out. Have a great night.